I'm happy to be here with Francesca Sorrentino, our instructor for the Game Localization Masterclass. Francesca is also the conference manager for Game Global. Francesca, how are you today?
I'm good, Alex. How are you? Thank you
It's
for having me here.
it's great to see you. And my, what a busy week we have with World coming up this week. So my first question for you today is, one of the unique perspectives of your masterclass is that you're coming from a background on both the client side and the service provider side of the game localization industry. Could you talk a little bit about how these experiences on both sides have helped informed this new masterclass that you're teaching?
Sure. So I think it was very useful for me to be on both sides because you can learn a lot of different things. And when you are on the client side, so in a developer company, you can really learn how games are made, and you can go in depth with the whole localization process. So if there is something you don't know, you can always ask other teams. And so I learned a lot this way. Whereas when you are on the service provider side, you have a whole lot of constraints, especially in terms of budget and resources, and that makes you, very very effective and super efficient. And also, it's gonna, you're gonna need to find sometimes very very creative solutions in order to make the projects happen.
And I think it's been extremely valuable. Our students have been able to, ask you questions again about both sides and the experience and how it's different. One other thing about the class that is really exciting is how interactive it is. And throughout the class sessions, I've found that you've had to stop and answer questions to a lot of students, and we've also had a very lively Q&A at the end of every session, often going longer than the scheduled time. Can you talk a little bit about how as teaching, this is an introductory level course, but certainly you're going deeper than the surface level. And some of this stuff does get technical pretty quickly. How do you kind of balance, doing an introductory course, but also going deeper and being able to answer these questions for students all around the world?
Yeah. So I think when you have some experience in the field, you tend to give some things for granted. And I do mention a lot of things and a lot of words and principles of game localization that are very straightforward to me and very logical, but I had to learn about those during my career. So I think it's important for the class to be interactive, so I can stop and explain some of the concepts more in depth. One of the concepts that really needs some explaining is internationalization, for example, because it's quite technical.
Mhm.
And it's not very straightforward, especially if you come from the translation side of things. And yes, and I think another aspect that needs some more explaining is when we talk about roles and stakeholders. Students tend to get very curious and sometimes very worried when they don't understand something. So it's always worth it to stop and give some more detail.
And the feedback we've received from our students is just that you've been so great in being open and approachable and willing to answer questions. So we thank you for going above and beyond in that. My last question is, you're also the conference manager for Game Global. I know you've been working tirelessly these last couple of years to create kind of a forum and a safe space for people who are both the veterans in the industry, but also new people coming in who are looking for careers and to find ways into the game localization industry. Can you talk about why the events like Game Global and also why this masterclass, why you find it so valuable and important for the industry in terms of incubating new talent?
Yeah. So when you attend Game Global, as you were saying, it's very open and safe space where everyone can discuss their experience. And I think as a newcomer or as a new starter in the industry, you get a very broad perspective of what the industry looks like, because you have both the developers there that have their own internal localization departments, and you have the service providers, you have freelancers, you have technical service providers. So it provides a broad overview of what the possible roles in the industry are. as well. Aside from the fact that you can learn a lot of things about the latest processes and the latest challenges in the industry. And that's also what I'm trying to reflect in the game localization masterclass. So I have learned a lot during my years in the companies, in the industry, but I'm still learning with Game Global, and I try to reflect that in the masterclass as well.
And it's a constant growing experience for everyone in the industry. And thanks again for taking time to talk with me today. I'm really excited. Our next game localization masterclass will be held on September 6th through the 9th. There's more information on that on the Localization Institute website. Also, Game Global has a webinar coming up. Do you want to mention that?
Correct. So we have a webinar coming up this month on June 23rd. It's going to be about UX, the psychology of UX, user experience in video games, and UX writing, which has it's very close to localization because it's about content designing. And also we are working on the next Game Global Digital Summit that is going to be in October 5th and 6th.
Well, thanks again for taking time today, Francesca, and we'll look forward to seeing you later this month at the webinar. And good luck this week with LoCWorld.
Thank you. Good luck to you too.
Have a great day.
Thank you.